All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Real quick, all right, I just wanted to, I have a couple of precepts, all right, lined up, all right, and basically just to drive home the point, all right, and show you examples, okay, of, really the importance of looking into these words when you're reading the scriptures, okay, and not just reading over it thinking, hey, I'm just going to use context clues and understand just the gist of it. No, you want to understand exactly what you mean, what the scriptures mean. You want to make sense out of what you're reading, okay, which means looking up the words. Sometimes it may be tedious, but hey, it's good to always look up. You can even, if the old English sometimes isn't, too clear, you can look at the different translations, all right, for that specific verse, and get the gist of what they're all saying, so you can understand better, all right. Because that's you'll come to find that when you look more into words, all right, that's why the apostles and brothers be stressing that a lot, looking into words, you get a better understanding of what that verse or what that precept is actually talking about. Okay, so you can picture it and you can understand, oh, okay, this is why so and so took such actions. All right, you're not just reading over it and just going through it. Okay, if you want understanding, you have to really study. That's why I said that's what studying goes into. All right, research, looking up things. All right, so this is 1 Samuel 24:1. All right, going into David and Saul. All right, it says, and it came to pass when Saul was returned from following the Philistines, that it was told him, saying, behold, David is in the wilderness of En-gedi. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and went to seek David and his men upon the rocks of wild goats. Okay, now here's the part. It says, and he came to the sheepcotes by the way, where was a cave, and Saul went in to cover his feet, and David and his men remained in the sides of the cave. So Saul didn't know that David and his men were inside the cave. Okay, but as you're reading this, at first, hey, me personally, I used to just read over this first verse and just keep going. All right, until one day, through the Spirit, I was like, well, what does that actually mean that he went to cover his feet in the cave? Like what is that? What kind of saying is that? What does that mean? Okay, so I looked it up. All right, and it basically goes into when you look up what it means to cover your feet. All right, which first let me go into I'll just pull it up. When you look it up, all right, it says here cover one's feet. All right, it says it's basically a euphemism, all right, or a biblical euphemism to lower one's garment, especially to urinate or defecate. Okay, now let me see, I think cover his feet. All right, so let's look at this right here. Let me see if this will give me something. You see? It says here, when I came to the phrase relieve himself, all right, I was tripped a little, because what Saul went into that's why Saul went into the cave. It didn't say he went with his men. Okay, he went into the cave, okay, by himself, because he had to relieve himself, all right, or he had to defecate. So when you go into the word cover, all right, it says Saul went in there to cover his feet. All right, the Hebrew word is kakak. Okay, and it says here, cover, screen cover. The main point I'm looking for is, look, to cover, defecate. All right, euphemism. Okay, defecate means you take a, you excrete waste, you take a shit. All right, so as it says there, when Saul went into the cave not knowing David and his men were in there, he basically went to defecate, or went to take a shit. All right, that's why it says he went to cover his feet, because that's like a way of saying, he went to relieve himself. You know, it's a euphemism. Just like you could say, oh, I'm just pulling your leg. You know, that's meaning I'm just messing with you. All right, but you're not literally pulling the person's leg. Okay. Now, I also, not to be, you know, disgusting or anything, but I looked it up. When you like a picture like this, for example, all right, this character would be considered using the bathroom, but if you notice, his feet are covered. You know, because when you pull down your garment or pull down your pants or whatever it may be, it comes down to what? Your feet. Okay, and but you can see his feet are covered right there. Okay, but also if you go into here, the different translations, all right, it'll show you, like the NLT, it says here, at the place where the road passes some sheepfold, Saul went into a cave to relieve himself. Okay, going in to relieve himself. Yeah, to relieve himself. That's basically what, to excrete waste. Okay, but for example, if you were to read something like this and you don't understand what that means, you look it up. Okay, now you can get the full picture. Oh, okay, so that makes sense why he was, he was in there. All right, he was okay. All right, okay, cool. You know, now you get a better understanding of the scenario as to what was going on. Okay, why Saul went in that cave and how things went down. You know, that's just one example. Okay, of going into the words and going into certain phrases you might not understand. All right, not just skipping over it, but looking it up so you can understand it. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean, oh, whatever, let me just skip through it and keep going. Nah, actually break it down to see, what the scripture is actually referring to. Okay, so next precept is in the book of Matthew. All right, which a lot of these precepts, brothers are already familiar with certain words that mean certain things. All right, when we go into it, but this is mainly for maybe newer those who are newer to the channel that might give you a better understanding as to why when we break down certain precepts, all right, we explain it a certain way. Because when you go into the words that were actually used, being that the scriptures were originally written in Hebrew, all right, and then you have them in Greek and different languages. A lot of the New Testament, especially in the Blue Letter Bible, when you go into the original word that was there, it'll give you the Greek word that's there, giving you the actual meaning of the word. Because in English, certain words that you might see and think of a certain definition for, when you go to the original word that was there, it might mean something different. All right, therefore you have to look it up. So it says, ye, Matthew 5:13, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. Okay, now when you think of salt, you think of basically food. Okay, so what does the Lord mean when he says you're the salt of the earth? Okay, when you look up the word, the Greek is what? Halas. Okay, for salt. And it says here, salt with which food is seasoned and sacrifices are sprinkled. Well, you know what I'm saying? Those kinds of blah blah blah. That's not the one I'm looking for right here. Okay, yeah, the last one, it says wisdom and grace exhibited in speech. Okay, the wisdom and grace exhibited, and that's why, because really when it says salt, is talking about the understanding. Okay, because no, there's a precept for this. Yep. Colossians 4:6, it says, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt. Does that mean you're gonna get a jar of salt and sprinkle it on your tongue before you speak? All right, so that your speech can be seasoned with salt? No. All right, it says that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. So now let's look up that word salt. Same word, halas. Okay, which, like we went into, it goes into wisdom. Okay, so wisdom and grace exhibited in speech. So the scripture, the Lord said, well, we are the salt of the earth, because it is through us that people get the wisdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, therefore, having the knowledge of this truth, all right, makes us have that salt. Okay, now I'm gonna keep going. It says, but if the salt have lost his savor, you look up the word savor. Okay, the Greek morino. Let me play it.
Strong's G 3471, morino.
All right, morino. All right, it says what? To be foolish, to act foolishly, to make foolish, to prove a person or a thing foolish, to make flat and tasteless of salt that has lost its strength and flavor. All right, but it says here to be foolish or to become a fool. That's the opposite of what? Having wisdom. Okay, therefore the Lord said what? If we are the salt of the earth, all right, we have that wisdom. Okay, the scriptures talk about the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. All right, and how the wisdom of the Most High supersedes any wisdom of the earth. Okay, so us having that wisdom of the Most High is us having that salt, okay, in the earth. All right, therefore if the salt has lost its savor, if the Lord takes that understanding away from you, you become what? You become foolish. Okay, and that's why the Lord said, but if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? Okay, what is your purpose? It is thenceforth good for nothing, because now what purpose do you serve for Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai? If you're not pushing this word, if you don't have the understanding anymore, then you're just awaiting destruction, because who are you edifying? All right, originally that salt that you were, all right, being able to season, all right, and draw in the elect. Guess what? If you lose your savor, if the Lord takes that spirit and understanding away from you, then wherewith shall it be salted? You know, like it says here, it is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men, because now you're worthless. All right, and that's how the Lord sees those who originally were a part of this ministry, a part of this truth, who had the salt, okay, the understanding, the wisdom, but after the Lord took it away from them, guess what? They are worthless to the Lord, okay, and they're waiting to be trodden under foot of men. Okay, but that's just another example of why it is important to go into the meaning of words. All right, when you look up the word, you see, oh, okay, so I'm seeing salt here, and automatically, because the English word for salt means what? The thing you use to, season or make your food taste better. All right, so you automatically thinking of food, but when you go into the word there, the Greek is what? Halas, and that goes into the wisdom. Okay, when you look up savor, you also think of food. But when you look into the word, you see now that it's talking about, what is that, morino, if I remember correctly. All right, talking about to be foolish. Okay, so just as salt loses its flavor, when you lose understanding, you become foolish. All right, so next one, all right, which we went into this yesterday too. All right, in the book of Hebrews. Okay, and there's many other scriptures, and that's why you have to, like I said, you have to study. All right, as you're reading, look, man. When you read about a certain location, pull up the map. Okay, type it in. Look up. All right, where was this? Okay, so they said that they started off in this part. All right, and they ended up here. Or when you're reading about the inheritance, all right, looking up where the tribes' inheritance were divided among them, so you know where the tribes were located. Okay, all these different things is good to know. So if you were to see a map, you can identify where certain locations are at, and it gives you a better understanding. You're not just reading words of strange places that you can't even imagine. You don't even know where that's at. Okay, here it is. They talking about the River Jordan. They're talking about a location that's right next to the River Jordan, and you gonna have brothers pointing all the way in Turkey, pointing in Egypt, and all those different. That's why you gotta study. Okay, so I'm gonna go into this last precept here. This is Hebrews 13 and 14. So it says here, for here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. And this is also an example as to why, we have more understanding than those in these churches, because they don't really look into the words. They take it for face value. Okay, they take it for face value. Therefore, we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Yep, that means we're seeking a city, a Jerusalem. We're seeking a better life. But when you really go into it, all right, it goes more in depth. All right, you look up the word here. Well, let's look up continuing. All right, it says what? To remain, in reference to a place to sojourn, to continue to be present. All right, in reference to time, to continue to be, not to perish, to last, to endure. Okay, so we don't have a city, all right, or a habitation that is for us, meant to last. Okay, because most of our, after the Lord took us out of the land of Israel, we've just been in captivity after captivity after captivity. Okay, not having really a place of our own, but what we seek one to come, which is the kingdom of heaven, because that's going to be our everlasting kingdom. Okay, the scriptures say, oh, I think it might be in the Apocrypha. I can't really find it right now, but it's basically going into 8. Basically, our kingdom shall not be left to another. Okay, because we're going to be there to inhabit it. It's going to be a continuing city. But let's go into the word city. Okay, it's polis. All right, the Greek. All right, and it says what? A city, one's native city, the heavenly Jerusalem. So Paul was saying that here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. So what are we seeking to come? The abode of the blessed in heaven, of the visible capital in the heavenly kingdom. So the kingdom of heaven, right? To come down to earth after the renovation of the world by fire. So hold on. So Paul's saying that the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth. Whoa, but they teaching you that heaven, is going to be in the spirit world. You sit under a mystical tree, with rivers of literal milk, all right? And you just sit there 24/7 not doing anything. But wait, Paul is saying the kingdom of heaven, the heavenly kingdom, all right, the one that we're seeking to come, that city that we're seeking to come, is going to come down to the earth. And what does he mean after the renovation of the world by fire? Whoa, he couldn't possibly be talking about the prophecy, all right, concerning the second death, concerning the nuclear missiles and the fire from the chariots that's going to destroy and basically destroy certain parts and renew the whole earth. Okay, is that what he's talking about? Like what John said in Revelation 21 concerning the new Jerusalem, which he saw coming down from heaven. Okay, so that's why you got to look up the word. So now you understand. Whoa, when we tell you, all right, that America is going to be destroyed by nuclear missiles, we tell you that the earth is going to shake. The scriptures say the earth is going to shake to and fro like a drunkard because of those missiles hitting, but that's going to purify the earth. Okay, or as Paul says here, renovate it. Okay, so now you're reading, you understand that, okay, the city that we're seeking to come is really the kingdom that's gonna be here, all right, on earth, all right, the visible capital. So, and that's what? Jerusalem. And it's gonna be visible, you can see it. Okay, but it's gonna be after the renovation of the world by fire. Okay, that second death. After that, the kingdom is going to be established here on earth. That is the continuing city that we're looking for. Because if you were to read it for face value, a city, you thinking a city is what? Just a regular, inhabited place. But we're talking about a heavenly city, man. So Paul knew about the prophecy of the destruction of certain places. All right, primarily America, and he knew about all these different things. But once again, you have to look up the words, all right, and really get into it to understand. Okay, wow, a continuing city that's really going into the kingdom. Okay, all right, and you're not just reading over it. Yep, for here we have no continuing city, but we see going to come. But no, all right, go into the meaning of the word. All right, that's how you get understanding. Okay, of what it is that you're reading. So you can comprehend it and be that much more of a better teacher. Okay, So, really that's it. All right, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. All right, call hello, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.